welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Quarterfinal action in the UEFA Champions League continues on Wednesday with defending champions Manchester City hosting Real Madrid with their tie locked at 3-3. Now Bayern Munich and Arsenal will also lock horns with aggregate level at 2-2. So ahead of their second leg quarterfinal clash at the Etihad Stadium on Wednesday, both Manchester City and Real Madrid are optimistic of reaching the last four.
It's true that the fact that we won it, we feel better all the season, comfortable, but we have to take the right energy. I think our people at home will help us a lot. So we sold out everything, and we need a lot of noise. We need a lot of presence of them, especially in bad moments, because what I said before the game in Madrid, so again, you are 90 minutes all the time, you are better. So there are moments that you have to suffer, then the results cannot be good, and we need them. They will be. I'm pretty sure of that, because they know we will be. So in this time of games, I'm not talking win or losing. I'm talking be present, be who we are. Always we have been in the last years, and had the feeling that we are prepared. We are prepared to perform well at maximum our best. Otherwise, you cannot reach semi-finals against teams like Madrid.
Everyone spoke a lot about them, you know, they're the treble winners, and rightly so. They're an amazing team, but I think you've got to understand that that's the impression from the outside, and that's the kind of feeling from everyone else. You know, I'm not a gambler, I've never been to the bookies, so I don't know the bets and the favourites and things like that, but I do know that, you know, we're Real Madrid, and we're a pretty good team ourselves. We've got some brilliant players, and yeah, I think that's more kind of external noise, and internally we're confident, and we trust in the abilities that we've got in the room and in the changing room.
All right, well, we just heard from, of course, the Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola. I'm going to start with his soundbite first. Brent, you're still with us. Pep says that getting the win has, taken off some of the pressure from them. Rightfully so, because Manchester City, the only thing when people came at Manchester City and the fans was that, well, you never won a Champions League match. So what does that say for yourself? This time Manchester City goes into this second leg with that win, knowing that they've won it already. They've done that.
Yeah, and Mariah, I would also add to the fact that what transpired this weekend in the EPL, that would have buoyed that camp to no other end, because they've finally taken over first place of the league. There is an ump in the room when I'm sure the players went out to training today. There's a buzz in the atmosphere from the canteen lady, from the lady, the gentleman in front, the stewards, the equipment men. Everybody in that Manchester City training environment would have an ump and have an eye about them. So when you look at Manchester City coming into this football game, yes, they've won last season and they've done well. But because of this weekend, because they feel that they are on a high, and rightfully so, because they are 27 games unbeaten in all competitions, is a phenomenal thing. But more importantly, they are top of the EPL. So what they know going into this fixture, that every single thing moving forward is in their hands. And that's what Man City likes to be. That's the position they like to be in. And so I feel coming into this fixture, they would be buoyed with all sorts of confidence, and you would probably see Manchester City at their best.
And they're coming up against, let's not forget, the team that I love to say the Champions League belongs to them, because when they are playing in the Champions League, it's a different type of beast, Brent. They can be doing really badly in La Liga, but the Champions League, we see a different type of Real Madrid. It doesn't matter who is on the team and who's not. So talk to me about what we are to expect from this Real Madrid team that is also at the top of the table in La Liga.
Yeah, we all know that this is a competition that's very dear to their hearts, and they're not going to go into this fixture and lie down. I expect them to try to obviously play their game. And I think the question is that for most Real Madrid fans is how do you approach this one? I expect Manchester City to see a lot of the football. I expect them to dominate possession. But that suits Real Madrid very well, because they're a team that is very well tuned to playing in transitions. They're very well tuned to playing on the counter. They've got some unbelievable players, game winners, match winners within their squad. And they think that if they come in there with their near perfect football match, because that's what they have to do to go to the Etihad to win, they can get a result there. And so this game is poised to be one for the reckoning, one for the records. And it's very much just too close to call.
Yeah, I want to pick you up on that, Brent, because it's very interesting that you just pointed out in your projection for the game that you think Man City will want to possess the ball and show, you know, their control over the tie. Ancelotti said pre-game that they're not going to Real Madrid win this game through fitness, but by attitude. What do you think he meant by that?
I think he suggested that his players have to understand that they will have to suffer to win. We've heard that phrase a lot in football. What that means, it means that you're going to have to defend for long periods without the ball. You're going to have to suffer in terms of not seeing the footballer alive. And you have to have, and going back to Ancelotti's point, the right attitude to get that sort of impression across. And, you know, if you're Real Madrid, when you dominate football games throughout La Liga, they're normally the ones that are the aggressive, the front foot team. You have to understand that it's important that coming into this fixture, there is going to need a certain level of attitude to get through it, because you're going to face situations that you're not used to. Where if you go back to one of the finals, I believe it was against Liverpool, they fully understood that they could control a football game without possessing the ball. And Real Madrid is very good at that. And I think that's what Ancelotti's pointed to, is understanding that you're coming into this fixture, which will require a different attitude and mindset to the other league games as you might have seen in La Liga and other games in Champions League before that.
Yeah, and Mariah mentioned something earlier on about Real Madrid's comfort when it comes to Champions League football. And I want to put to you, Brent, that statistically and going into the game from a head-to-head perspective, the odds are against Real Madrid here for sure. They're head-to-head worse off against Man City, and they've never beaten Man City in England. So there are factors going into this game that suggest that Real Madrid are real underdogs. But it's almost an oxymoron to say that they're underdogs and we're talking Champions League football.
Well, this is it. And if there's one team that could win from an underdog position, it's Real Madrid. And that's a fact. And you have to go back to the fact, Lance, is that they have players within their squad that could win your football game. I just mentioned about Mbappe being unplayable. You've got at least 2 or 3 within the Real Madrid ranks that can be unplayable in the day. Vinicius Jr., who was almost near perfect, of course, in the first fixture. If he has a good game, if Jude Bellingham has a good game, I think then you start asking questions about Manchester City. And I just feel that some of the players within that Real Madrid squad are not only just world-class players, but match winners. And if any of them was to get into that sort of form, I just feel that Real Madrid could edge it. But as I said in the beginning of all of this one is really too close to call, because both teams possess the sort of players and capabilities that can win you any football match, and they both bring their A game in the most crucial and critical times, and I expect that tomorrow. Yeah, and to accentuate the point you're making about this matchup, Brent, we're talking about Ancelotti and Pep Guardiola, whose CVs and the narrative surrounding both men suggests that they're probably the best coaches we've ever seen in football. Yeah, I would agree that, and I'm sure if I was Carlo Ancelotti, I'd somehow try to pull out that Everton stint that he had. But outside of that, I think tactically, the way they approach football games, because as you rightfully mentioned, when Cristiano Ronaldo and then Karim Benzema left Real Madrid, the question was who was going to be Real Madrid's focal point. They don't need one. And he recreated the way that they played and the way they approach games, and he's able to win that. But not just tactically, man management as well. I don't think in world football, maybe Alex Ferguson could join this list, maybe Johan Klopp, but to be able to get players to do exactly what you want for such a long period of time, and over a football season, which is very, very long, 40-something plus games in it, to do it game in, game out, week in, week out, training week in, week out, it's just unbelievable to do. And yes, we talk about X's and O's a lot as a football analyst, but you have to give credit to the man management skills of Pep Guardiola and of course of Carlo Ancelotti. They've been nothing less short than superb. And if anybody wants to be a coach, read any of the books and videos that they've brought out.
Yeah, a good advertisement there from you, Brent Sancho. Let's talk now about Arsenal and Bayern Munich. What are we to expect?
Listen, and as I said, I believe it was yesterday in the show, a lot of Arsenal fans here in Trinidad like to target me when I'm out in the streets because...
They target me too, Brent.
Yeah, they think I'm always bad talking I just feel that, and I go back to what I said about them on the weekend. I just think that this is a team that could easily capitulate. This is a massive game for Arsenal in all respects. Yes, we're talking Champions League football, but I think if they go to Germany and they get a win, they're back in this EPL race. They're going to have their tails up. They're going to have something about them. But I just can't believe that, because I know what I know about Arsenal from all that I've seen about them. I don't expect them to go to a Bayern team that just lost their domestic league for the first time in many, 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 many years and come up with a result. Because this is a Bayern team that have the bit between the teeth and feel that this is our only chance of winning a trophy or winning a major trophy this year. And they're going to go for it. So I just don't see Arsenal standing up to that. And I just think that Bayern Munich is going to present themselves with every opportunity to come out of this one with a victory.
But Brent, based on what we saw today, we can, confidently say that none of the teams are really living up to the playbook, right? Because to me, I felt as if Barcelona, they started off so good, they could have gone on and win today. They got that red card and everything was shattered for them, right? Same thing in the other match against Atletico Madrid, getting that lead. So why can't we stick to that narrative and say that, Arsenal will surprise us tomorrow?
Because life lessons have taught me differently, and Arsenal has never stuck up to any narrative other than falling short. And I just expect that from them. Look, don't get me wrong. If Bayern Munich gets a red card like Barcelona did today, yeah, maybe Arsenal could get a result, but that's an unlikely probability compared to what I've seen from Arsenal and their body of work when it comes to this side of the season. And look, it's not a knock necessarily on Arsenal as a football team, but it just shows you how well coached and obviously well prepared the likes of Man City and Real Madrid. Being a champion, you have certain attributes attached to you, certain characteristics attached to you. I just don't think they can get there, but I just don't think Arsenal is there yet. Have they closed the gap? Yes, they have. They're a lot better than they were last season. They're getting closer to what they should be in terms of being a championship team. But I just feel that this year, this season, this moment is probably a little bit too soon for them.
Yeah, they're up against a familiar foe, Brent, tomorrow in Harry Kane, who at the moment I saw has 15 goals against Arsenal, making him the joint top scorer against Arsenal with Wayne Rooney. So he could go ahead with a goal tomorrow. Will he score?
I think so. I think he's easily one of the most clinical strikers in world football, and he's been doing it at a subpar Tottenham team, all due respect to them. And now he's come to a very talented Bayern Munich team, albeit they didn't have the kind of season that they expected to. It doesn't take away from that man there in your shot. He is extremely clinical in front of goal. He'll be very familiar with the physicality of the two centre-halves from Arsenal, and he will revel in those sorts of moments. More importantly, his movement and what Bayern Munich has been able to do over the last couple of weeks. They're the type of team now looking at this. And don't forget as well, this is Thomas Tuchel's last season. He would love nothing better but to sign off with a Champions League final appearance and possibly winning it. And if you have asked him before all of this that this game could lead him into the semi-final, just needed a result without coming back from what they did in the Emirates, he would take it all day long and he would back his boys through to get any result. And back to Harry Kane, yes, as I said, he is a difficult person to pick up as a centre-half. And I think Arsenal is going to have those sorts of struggles tomorrow.
Well, Brent, only a couple hours away from those matches. And of course, we'll be having the pre-game show on SportsMax as well as bringing you the matches. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk again tomorrow, Brent. Are you on?
No, I'll be having a cool beer watching the game. Where I'm supposed to be, I guess.
All right. Well, we'll talk again soon, Brent. Take care.
Take care. Have a good one.
All right. Brent Sancho there. He is one of our SportsMax analysts and, of course, former TNT Soccer Warrior. We're taking a break. We'll be back.